All right, so the next thing I want to sort of riff on a bit. This will be a Godzilla cringe little section because the person that I'll be discussing is from a Godzilla fan, which is pretty obvious from like once we explore a bit on this guy's whole thing. Um, yeah, it's pretty obvious he's a Godzilla fan, judging by just the way his video, or not his video, but like his list is. Cause this is a top five least favorite list, you know. And of course, when it comes to lists like that, they all have certain opinions, and most of those opinions have a lot of depth, a lot of reasoning, good reasoning, and just boil down to like it's an opinion, and a lot of people nowadays in the internet have opinions and such like that. But when you're like this guy, when all your quote opinions only come down to just saying it's bland, it's weird, it's stupid, that's not really an opinion, that's more of a nitpick, and usually those are the type of things that most people don't really accept, um, unless you're fucking stupid and you can't comprehend the concept of an opinion. Then you'll just be like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, so so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's riff on my top 5 least favorite Ultraman Kaiju by Mecha from Amino. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a top 5 least favorite Ultraman Kaiju by this particular user. Why don't we look at this profile real quick? Let's look at this profile real quick. All right, so here's its bio. Here's his bio right here. Since May 2017, 14 years, 337 days. Jeez. Anyway, so let's read this. Hello, I am Mecha. I love to create posts about different things like quizzes, polls, blogs, and even show funny or cool things of the amazing people on this community. I am a fan of all things kaiju, from Godzilla to Gamera and Ultraman to King Kong. So, yeah, okay. All right, and then we scroll down here. We got wiki entries. Apparently, I'm guessing these are wikis that he created on Amino. What the fuck? The Jagverse? What the fuck is this shit? Anyway, let's let's go back here. So, all right. So, I read. I'll be honest. I read a bit on the list, and the things that this person says in this list are real. They're really stupid. He gives no real opinions. Like when I read this to you guys, or if you're watching this or not, whatever, you know, you'll come to understand, yeah, like these aren't really opinions at all, So anyway, without further ado, guys, let me read you guys the oh my god, what is this? Cringe. I am not gonna make an account. That is cringe. Anyway, okay, so let's just read this right here. Hello, everyone. Today I have another list for you. Being my top 5 least favorite Ultraman kaiju. A lot of people may disagree with this list, but it's my opinion, and it's perfectly fine that you disagree with me. This list will only contain monsters that I have seen in episodes or battles. Now, keep that sentence right there in mind. This list will only contain monsters that I have seen in episodes or battles. But when I read you, like, keep that in mind, because when I get around to reading his quote opinions on some of these monsters, you'll come to realize that this guy didn't exactly saw the episodes and only saw the battles that feature them. Straight up. Anyway, continuing on. I will also say that 5 through 3 I don't mind, but I have problems with, while 2 through 1 I don't like. Well, let's get this list started. Okay. So So already, this is already a fucking lie. Your type the post here is called my top 5 least favorite Ultraman kaiju, right? Why is it that 5 through 3 you don't mind? That doesn't make sense. Maybe the title should have been called my top 5 uh, least favorite monsters that I don't mind, but I also don't like from Ultraman kaiju, whatever. like you see what I mean? Like it's that doesn't make sense. Like why if you're gonna be calling the title my least favorite Ultraman kaiju, why is it that 5 through 3 are the ones that you don't mind? Like okay. Also another thing too that I also want to bring up. It also kind of seems like this guy is sort of trying to start some shit. That's another thing that is quite frequently that I've noticed quite frequently in like in both the Godzilla community and Ultraman community. Like newcomers to Ultraman seem like they're trying to start some shit with like the Ultraman fans themselves. Like they say shit like, "Oh, like fuck this and that, fuck this monster because he's fucking cringe or whatever," and stupid shit like that. And when we go to this to number 5, you'll see what I mean when I say that. So anyway, dishonorable mentions that dishonorable mentions. He spelled mentions wrong. He forgot the letter N. So okay, Grugegobone. He misspelled Grugegobone. Why do I get the feeling this guy doesn't know shit about Ultraman? And has only started out. Okay. Alright. I would have put on the list, but I had a rant about on my Rube rant, so I'm not adding it on the list. Well, I mean, Ultraman RB sucks ass anyway, so I mean, yeah, I guess in some ways he's okay with that. Anyway, so number 5, Gomora. Now, I may get some hate for this, but just for the record, I don't hate this kaiju and just find it bland for some reason. I don't if it's been used too much, which it probably has. Now, I love the alternate forms except Fire Gomora, because it's just a red Gomora, but EX Gomora, Mecha Gomora, Cyber Gomora, and Skull Gomora are all really cool. Gomora isn't bad, but to me it isn't really good, and to me is overrated. So much. Okay, we got a lot to discuss here, guys. Okay, so now this is honestly surprising to me, because for one thing, from as someone that has interacted with both Godzilla and Ultraman fans, I can say for certain, any Godzilla fan, if you go up to them and ask them, "Hey, what Ultra monster do you like the most?" They probably won't remember his name, but they'll probably describe it as, "Oh, it's that monster with horns," or like, "Oh, it's Gomora." Gomora has literally become the most iconic and most infamous monster. Like the mostly when it comes down to it, like the Gomora that they're describing is the one from Ultra Galaxy, because that one is obviously the one show that really just catches a lot of Godzilla fans' eyes. Because it's just a bunch of monsters fighting, and it's overall a really great show. I totally recommend it. And basically, Gomora is essentially the Godzilla Final Wars. It is Godzilla 2004 of Ultra Galaxy. You know what I mean? So it's surprising to me that this guy finds Gomora bland. I mean, if you want to hear a hot take, Godzilla's bland. Yeah, he's basically just a upright dinosaur with spikes with Stegosaurus spikes on his back. Yeah, yeah. I just said that. Yeah. So if you think that Gomora is bland for just because of his just looking like that, that could be said for Godzilla too. And hey, let's not stop there. Gamora's just a giant turtle with freaking tusks on his mouth. And hey, why stop there? Ultraman, he's just a giant guy with some red patterns on his body. And hey, let's not stop there. King Kong, a giant gorilla. There are so many different iconic monsters that we can point and say, it just looks bland. So, yeah, already this already is a stupid start to a quote opinion. Anyway, so all right, the next one's here. Another thing that I want to discuss about is that he loves the alternate forms. He loves the other alternate forms. And what's even funnier is that he includes Mecha Gomora and Cyber Gomora and Skull Gomora as alternate forms, which I find to be amusing since, obviously if you're an Ultraman fan, you would know those three monsters that I just mentioned are three completely different entities. They are both their own unique sort of shit, It's like, Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. You know what I mean? So, would you say that Mechagodzilla is a form of Godzilla? I mean, it depends on which one you're talking about, I guess, but no, it's not. But anyway, so another thing too is he loves these alternate forms, quote unquote, but all except for Fire Gomora. So obviously, I'm going to assume he's talking about Rayonix Burst Gomora, and when he said that, okay, and this is his reason that he gives for the reason why he doesn't like Fire Gomora, is because it's just a red Gomora. If you've watched Ultra Galaxy Neo, and if you've watched every single episode, which I highly doubt this person has, you would know that Rayonix Burst Gomora is way more than just being a red Gomora. I mean, firstly, he's not red. He's more of like an orangey yellowish color. It's more or less like that kind of color, I mean, yeah, there's a few hints of red, but it's mostly an orange color, an orange tone color. So already, this whole thing is just kind of all over the place. And so, yeah, and another thing too that I wanted to bring up is a certain meme template that fits very perfectly for this. So this guy says that he loves the alternate forms, all except for Rayonix Burst Gomora or Fire Gomora, whatever the fuck this retard wants to call it. This is one perfect meme template that really fits perfectly with this. And it goes something like this. If you don't like me at my this, then you don't deserve me at my this. Yeah, do you get what do you get it? If you don't like the OG Gomora, then you don't deserve to say shit about the other Gomora forms, like the EX Gomora or Rayonix Burst Gomora. You do not deserve to say anything like that. Straight up, bro. Nah. Okay. So, yeah. Already, number 5, Gomora is his opinion on why he hates or finds this monster to be his least favorite is already pretty damn sad and pathetic. So, anyway, next one here. Number 4, Gomez. Okay, I don't mind Gomez, but I just don't like the idea of a furry Godzilla with a couple of horns. But this kaiju looks like the Grinch and Godzilla had a baby, which I hope I would never have to say those words in the same sentence until I saw Gomez. So, okay, Gomez. Gomez is also another opinion that, it's just kind of a mixed bag, I guess you could say. Because he also says that he doesn't mind Gomez, which is also stupid. Because why is he on his list? Keep in mind, it's called my top 5 least favorite Ultraman Kaiju, correct? Yet, so far, number 4 and number 5 are the two monsters so far that this guy in particular doesn't mind. That doesn't make any sense. That's already this whole thing, like, this whole thing is just stupid. It really is. Anyway, so he doesn't like the idea of a furry Godzilla with a couple of horns. Okay, why do I get the feeling that this guy probably has a top 5 favorite Ultra Kaiju, and I bet you anything, there's probably Gras is in that list. I bet you anything. Oh my god. But yeah, he doesn't like Gomez because he's furry. He's a furry and he has a couple of horns. Are you serious? Like, if anything, compared to Gomez and Gras, the two monsters that everyone knows by now, or should know by now, reuse the Godzilla suit. Compared to both of them, I'd say Gomez is probably the more original looking monster. I mean, yeah, sure, he does have appearance of the Godzilla, he obviously, but Gras is straight up just Godzilla with a frill. Like, why isn't that in your list? Like, if you wanted to, like, that kind of goes for, like, Gomora too. Like, if you wanted to say something about a bland monster, or a monster that just looks just plain just that, why isn't Gras in this list? Because I bet you 100%, ladies and gentlemen, this guy probably fucking likes Gras a lot. Cause Godzilla. Like, I swear, bro. I do like the comparison though right here that he gives. The Grinch, if the Grinch and Godzilla had a baby, Gomez, like, that's a pretty like clever way of seeing it, I guess. It's I don't know. That kind of gave me a smile, so I don't know. Anyway, number three, Birdon. Okay, Birdon. That is a monster that I can understand a lot of people wouldn't, like. I mean, I for one like Birdon, but obviously I know a couple of friends of mine and a couple of others who unironically don't really like Birdon because they have, and funny enough, they actually have good reasons and actual reasons, while this guy's doesn't really have a really good reason. Let's read this. Anyway, Birdon is just weird and not the cool kind of weird since it's on the list. Sorry, I misread that. But first of all, what are those red things on its beak? They just look odd on it. But the real problem I have are those freaking wings. How does this thing even fly with those pathetic wings? Top 10 questions people still haven't answered. Okay. All right. Let's fucking let's talk about this. Okay. So first off, obviously, like, with the whole thing with him, with Birdon, I mean, he doesn't have to like Birdon. I could understand why a lot of people don't like Birdon. It just doesn't look really that. It just doesn't really look appealing, and like at the same time, his opinions is just all he has to say about it is just weird. Straight up, I have friends that literally go into depth on why they don't like Birdon. It's insane. And all this guy has to muster up is just saying that Birdon looks weird? That's it? Oh my god. And when he goes down the list and he says that, what are those red things on its beak? And for those who don't know, like, obviously the people that are like unfamiliar with Birdon, they'll be like, oh, those look like fucking ball sacks. Like, okay. But no, in actuality, there are poisonous sacs. They're poisonous sacs, and he uses his beak to stab its opponent and inject the poison in it, weakening them and making their entire, like, that part of the body numb. It can't move at all. So yeah, it's an ability. It's an actual ability that Birdon has. Another thing too that really just made me like, oh my god, was when he said, "How does this thing even fly with those pathetic wings?" And yeah, it's possible. It is possible. I mean, in a way, you call these wings pathetic, but that could also be said for a few other Godzilla monsters. For example, two monsters that have wings, Gigan and Mecha King Ghidorah. If it wasn't for their anti-gravity abilities, they wouldn't really be able to fly. And even if they did, it would look really stupid. Like that could also be said for like another monster in particular, the flying form of Destroyer. How the hell does it fly? It just floats. How does it fly? That doesn't make any sense. There's no motion with that. He just sort of floats. There's no explanation on how he's able to do that. Like yeah, I just pointed those out. Like, how the hell, like, if you saying that Birdon has pathetic wings, how the hell do those other monsters that I just mentioned fly with those pathetic wings that they have? So, I mean, yeah, like if you, like, yeah, I can point out some monsters here, buddy. Like, I can point out some monsters with some pathetic wings. But hey, at the same time, everything is fiction. These monsters aren't real. When it comes to monsters with wings and all that, and how they can fly with those wings, you don't normally ask. Because in the end of the day, it's all fiction and entertainment. It's all... that is really all it is. By the way, guys, are you guys starting to notice how it's pretty obvious that this guy in particular did not watch any of the episodes? Because it's pretty obvious to me. Anyway, so going down the list here. Number 2, Nova. Okay, so Nova is a monster that appeared in Ultraman Leo, and he is he's kind of like a yokai monster. He's a spiritual monster that has a lot of things to it. More than just whatever this guy describes this monster as. It is way more than just a monster that looks like this. Like, you guys can probably see it right here. Yeah, right there. It's this way more than that. Anyway, so we're gonna read this right here. Nova. What is this thing? It looks like a balloon with a face and a cape tied up with some rope and a pickaxe. The only reason it's number 2 is because the episode in it appeared that I watched was decent, and I enjoyed some parts of that episode. Obviously, that's cap, because instead of putting episode, he should have put this. The only reason it's number 2 is because the battle it appeared that I watched was decent, and I enjoyed some parts of that battle. Because, straight up, this guy did not watch this episode. He did not. It's pretty obvious. And he doesn't even specify what episode in it. Because with some of these monsters that he's listing, like so far, like some of these images, Birdon, this Birdon in particular appeared in Ultra Galaxy Neo. Gomez appeared in Ultra Galaxy Neo. Gomora right here appeared in Ultra Galaxy and Ultra Galaxy Neo. He uses these images, and I'm guessing, and obviously this one right here, I'm probably guessing that he watched Ultraman Mebius. The Ultraman Mebius version, or the Ultra Galaxy version. Who really knows? Because this guy doesn't specify anything with these monsters. Like, so far, this list is all nitpicks. Everything nitpicking. Nothing but nitpicks here and there. Oh, like this monster has some weird ball sacks hanging from his beak, so I already don't like it. And his wings look fucking stupid, so obviously I don't like it. This monster looks fucking bland because I don't like it. This monster looks like a furry. And he has a balloon face and everything like that. Nothing but nitpicks. Nothing but bitching nitpicks. That's all I see and read, and it's just all bad. Bad opinions here, guys. It really is. Alright, we're going down to number 1. Now, number 1 is by far the most surprising thing because even at the time, 2016, when Ultraman Orb was out, and obviously when the monster Maga-Orochi appeared, many people from the Godzilla community fucking loved it. They loved Maga Orochi. Or at least some, I guess. Some Godzilla fans, let me correct myself. Some Godzilla fans really liked Maga Orochi. And I myself really fucking like Maga Orochi. You know, Maga Orochi, Maga-Tan-O Orochi, Metsu Orochi. I really like them. They're really fucking badass. I would say that, you know, my second favorite would be like Galactron, and that's about it. In terms of Ultraman Orb monsters. So anyway, so I was surprised that number one was Maga-Tan-O Orochi. So let's read this. Well, I'm sure I'm going to get hate for this. You see that little thing right there? That pretty much just tells me right there that he's looking for some heat, bro. He is looking for some heat. Like, he knows what he's doing. And the sad thing is that I'm giving it to him. I'm giving him that reaction. So by just correcting his bullshit, basically. So in a way, it hasn't really worked really at all. But anyway. But my number one is Maga-Tan-O Orochi. But just let me explain. Alright, sure. Let's hear this guy's explanation. So I was watching the season finale of Ultraman Orb, and when I heard that Maga Orochi was just the larval stage of something even more destructive, and so I got excited. But because I never saw the new kaiju before, and so I waited until the abomination that is Maga no Orochi appeared, and a wave of disappointment consumed me. The design was terrible and barely looked like it was related to Maga Orochi. The episode it was in, really good, just not the kaiju itself. In my opinion, I think Maga Orochi is more powerful than Maga-Tan-O Orochi, but that's just me. I was expecting something really cool to come from Maga Orochi, but got something disappointing. So already this is stupid. This is a stupid, like, basically this whole thing, the whole reason why he doesn't like Maga-Tan-O Orochi was because he fucking hyped himself up and he got disappointed with the design. That's stupid. Like, don't get me wrong, like, some people don't really like Maga-Tan-O Orochi. I mean, some of them might do. I sure do. Like, I really like the concept of, like, a mass of flesh and bone, like, being like this, like, basically like this, you know? And another thing, too, is that he mentions that, you know, that it doesn't look like Maga Orochi. I mean, do you not see the design? Look at, like, I could see some Maga Orochi stuff on there. I could see the heads. I could see the spike patterns. I could see the head, the massive head with teeth. I could see that. It straight up is Maga Orochi. But no, I guess he just doesn't really see that because he's fucking blind and retarded. You know, obviously with just stuff like this, you know. And another thing too that's even more stupid is that he thinks that Maga Orochi is more powerful than Maga-Tan-O Orochi, which even that is stupid, because obviously Maga-Tan-O Orochi, if it wasn't for that weak spot that was on his body in the episode, I feel like Maga-Tan-O Orochi would be a massive threat to the Earth. He would have annihilated the entire planet if it wasn't for that weak spot from the episode. You know what I mean? So, not to mention, Maga-Tan-O Orochi basically contains every single power of the past Maga monsters, the Maga Beast, Maga Basser, Maga Grand King, Maga Japa, Maga Pandan, and I think Maga Zetan, I believe, also. Or I think it's just all those main 4 Maga Beasts, I think. But basically, you know, it has all of their abilities, including its own, maximizing it into powerful proportions. You know, like, Maga-Tan-O Orochi is supremely powerful than its larval stage. You know, like, it's this whole thing is stupid. I have no other way of saying this. Like, it's this whole list of his opinions are just stupid. Like, everything about it is just nitpicks and nitpicks. Anyway, he signs off by saying, "Well, that's my list. Hope you guys enjoyed reading my opinions on these kaiju." Oh, we certainly enjoyed it, Mecha. Well, I'll be seeing you guys soon. See ya. Yep. Fuck ya. Anyway, so Jesus, man. Okay. Let me get out of this real quick. All right, there we go. All right. Fucking hell. Yeah. So, yeah, that list was stupid. The opinions right there were stupid. I don't know what else to really describe it. It was stupid. There were nothing but nitpicks and nothing but bitching over certain little things about the monsters. Um, I gotta say, like, again, like, many people that I know, I mean, some people that I know, they don't really like some of the Ultra monsters. Like, I could understand that, with some designs of the monsters, they just don't like it, But another thing too is that you have to appreciate the fact, at least appreciate the fact of how imaginative and creative some of these monsters are. Like, yeah, some of the monsters from that guy's list were just some of the more famous and more scarce kind of monsters. But there are a whole variety of monsters from the Ultra franchise. There are so many different monsters, and most of them are just so creative and imaginative. Like, I can't stress this enough. I mean, obviously they have their just bland monsters like Jiras, and just shit like that. But there are so much more to some of these monsters, man, that you like there is so much more to them. They look so freaking badass is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Um Half of these monsters, I would go as far as to say that there are more the ultra monsters, some of the ultra monsters are more imaginative and creative than any of the freaking Godzilla monsters, including Gamma monsters. Well, okay, maybe not the Gamma monsters. I mean, cuz Legion is a pretty creative looking monster. But besides all that, it's you can't beat it. Some of the just have any Godzilla fan out there has really have they ever really like stopped to really admire the monster's design and its origins? Like, seriously, like, really stop and admire some of these monsters, guys. Like, I implore you to do that, because you will understand how really awesome some of these ultra monsters are. I cannot stress that enough. You know, like again, like I bring up Godzilla a lot with some of these arguments, because some of these because that's the thing with is that some of these Godzilla fans that are starting to get into Ultraman always really just nitpick about certain shit, and it's like, no, like, you can't just nitpick like that. You gotta really give your reasoning on why you don't like these monsters. And so, like, it really is just a shame that, like, some of these Godzilla fans just straight up just say, like, oh, like, I don't like this monster. It's weird. And that's it. Like, they don't even go into more into it, like, they don't even go much of anything. All it is with them is just nitpicks. Some of them, some Godzilla fans nitpick so goddamn much with some Ultraman designs, including some Godzilla designs. Like, it's stupid. It really is.